Once all the prerequisites that I just mentioned are ready, what I called the starter pack, the next step is to decide how to use the API. What do I mean by how? Well, there are two different ways. You can use the API directly, or you can use the official Python library. In this case, let me start with the API. When you use the API directly, you make a request to a specific endpoint. There are many endpoints available which provide access to different models, and within these models, there are even different versions. Those are the releases. When using the API directly in Python, you use the request library and you set the specific parameters. Then you parse the response object to extract the model output. For further information, you can check the API reference in the Making Requests section. But at a high level, what you do is you specify which endpoint you want to connect to and you set the parameters. For example, the model and the prompt that you're going to send. And I think it's better if I show you with a demo. To get started, I open the API notebook. As a first step, I'm going to import OS, requests, and JSON. Request being the library that I'm going to use to make the call. This is pretty standard procedure when connecting to any API using Python, and JSON to parse the response. As a first step, I'm going to load the key and now specify the prompt. This is a very short prompt to succeed in life. In an upcoming module, I'll tell you more about how to build great prompts. But for now, this is good. Then I set the endpoint that I'm going to connect to. In this case, it's chat completions. Actually, the prompt at the top looks more like something for the completions endpoint, but that's legacy. Let's use the chat completions one. Also, if you look at some pre-existing code, you might find different URLs, for example, to engines or /completions. Those are the deprecated endpoints. This is the current one at the time of the release of the course. Next up, I'm going to set the headers. This is where I pass the key for authorization. And then I set the parameters, specifying the maximum number of tokens, the model, and then I pass the messages. Here's where I specify the prompt and the tokens. Next up, I make the call using requests.post. And now I extract the response and print it. To succeed in life, there are several key factors to consider. As you can see, this is a very short response. This is because of the max tokens parameter that was set to 50. I'll expand more on the parameters in a few moments. Also, let's take a look at the entire response. This is the object that's returned from the API. As you can see, it has a lot of useful information. One in particular that you may want to store is the usage, especially if it's an open system where you don't have control over what your users send, because you're charged by the tokens. I'll cover pricing also in a few moments. And this is how you make a call to the OpenAI API. Let me now show you the library.